Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Samantha Farley, and today I'm going to talk about my awful diabetes day that I had yesterday. So yesterday was a Sunday and I slept in a little bit, and for me that is 7 a.m. You might be laughing at me right now, but 7 a.m. is late for me. So I slept in, and the day before I actually did a long run. If you've watched my last video, you'll know that I am training for a half marathon. So on Saturday I had a really long run. I ran 9 miles and my body was it was kind of sore. So I decided to take an easy day on Sunday. So I didn't wake up and work out immediately. I took some time to rest, drink my coffee, relax, and most of the morning my blood sugars were pretty normal and level throughout the day. When I woke up, it was about 135. My blood sugars were around 135. And I went down to the couch, I had some coffee, and first thing I did, of course, right at 7 a.m. was take my long-lasting insulin. So I took 7 units for a day, and then I went down to eat my breakfast. So I took my normal 1 unit of insulin of Humalog for breakfast, because I eat the same thing for breakfast pretty much every morning unless I'm not at home for whatever reason. So I always have my yogurt bowl, and if you haven't seen my what I eat for breakfast YouTube video, I highly recommend it because I love my breakfast bowl. It is so good. Just use some Chobani yogurt and some fruit and some nuts for granola, and it's absolutely amazing. So I took my 1 unit of insulin for that because it's around 30 grams of carbs, and that is my ratio for the morning. That may not be your ratio, so if you're new to diabetes, don't follow what I'm doing. Make sure that it matches with your insulin ratio amount with what you're eating. And throughout the morning, honestly, I was having a great day. My levels stayed pretty consistent. After eating my yogurt bowl, it kind of leveled out to about 120, and it was that consistent for the entire morning. Then around lunchtime, as you know, it was football Sunday and there were playoff games happening. So me and my boyfriend wanted to get some burritos. Typically we get Chipotle, but today I was actually near my office and there's a place in Denver called Burrito Giant. And I went there and got 2 burritos. They're large, like very large burritos, and we got chorizo in them, you know, green chili, all of that, cheese. They were absolutely delicious. So we had that for lunch. I took 2 units of insulin for that. I figured that was not going to be enough for this large burrito for me. However, this is another topic for another day, but I have been dropping. If I take too much insulin up front, I actually drop prior to the food hitting me. And so I have to be careful with my insulin ratios now. What I usually do is take a little bit up front and then I'll take some later, which is what I had to do for this burrito. So I took 2 units of insulin, ate my burrito. It was about an hour later, I had to take another unit of insulin because my blood sugar started to go up. They went up to about 200. So I took, of course, that extra unit of insulin and it came back down. So far so good for the day with my insulin levels. Obviously I didn't want my blood sugar to get to 200. It did, but thankfully I did take that extra unit of insulin and it came right back down to about 140. About 20 minutes later it came down. So far so good. My day has been fine until I decided to snack around 3 p.m. and this is when it started just to turn into a terrible night. So around 3 p.m. I started to get hungry again. That is my typical snack time, and I am a huge snacker. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, I love to snack. And so when I was first diagnosed with diabetes, I was freaking out because basically the doctors told me that I couldn't snack, and if I was going to snack, it had to be on cheese crackers. Like literally crackers made out of cheese. And I just remember being so overwhelmed at the time. But thankfully, since then, which, you know, I was diagnosed almost a year ago, I have found plenty of snacks that I can eat that don't really affect my blood sugar. One of those snacks is popcorn. Of course, there's so many different types of popcorn out there, so you have to be careful. But popcorn is usually a good choice for a snack because you can have between 2 to 3 cups of popcorn and it doesn't go over 15 carbs, usually. Until yesterday, and this is my own fault, but I'm learning from it, and this is why I'm sharing it with you guys. I grabbed the popcorn from the pantry to snack on. The popcorn brand that I have is Lesser Evil, and I've tried all of the flavors that they have, and Lesser Evil is actually a wonderful brand. It's probably my favorite popcorn, and it's still very healthy. And if you've never had it before, I highly recommend trying it. When I bought this popcorn, I was moving very fast through the grocery store. I just grabbed a Lesser Evil bag and I went to check out, and that is it. When I started eating my Lesser Evil popcorn, it's so good. They get you, right? Because half of it was my fault because I just grabbed the bag and started eating out of the bag, which was a problem. I ate half of the bag. Of course, I'm watching football. I'm just hanging out on the couch. I'm just stuffing my face because I'm a snacker. And I realized that I ate half of the bag. If this was any other snack, I would have been in huge, huge trouble. And I'm sure you already know that. If you have diabetes, you can't eat half a bag of anything without taking insulin and it being a disaster. So I had the realization, oh crap, I just ate half a bag of popcorn. But good news is that it's popcorn. This won't affect me that much. Until I looked at the back of the bag. The bag that I had from Lesser Evil was their sweet and salty. So their sweet and salty type of popcorn has, I think, 4 grams of added sugar per serving. I didn't realize this, of course. So I wasn't measuring how much I was eating, but I'm sure I had 3 to 4 servings at least of popcorn, which means that's about 15 grams of sugar. If you've had diabetes for a while, or if you're still new to diabetes, that is the amount we take when we're low. I was not low and I did not take any insulin for this. So I started having a little bit of a panic attack. So I took 1 unit of insulin after I ate the popcorn because I was like, holy crap, my blood sugar is about to skyrocket because I didn't take any insulin prior to eating this. And I just ate 50 grams of sugar plus extra carbs too. So that it wasn't just straight carbs, right? It was sugar plus carbs. Ironically, for about 2 hours, nothing happened. And I'm like, okay, I did good. I saved myself with that extra shot of insulin until it was about 5:30 p.m. So I was getting some extra work done, sitting upstairs in our second bedroom, which is our office area. I get a beep beep noise from my Dexcom, and initially, I'm so used to getting that as a low that I'm like, holy crap, I'm low. And so I look at my phone and it said 205 going up. And I was like, what? Why is my blood sugar going up right now? This makes 0 sense. I decided to give myself another half shot of insulin just to help it either stay steady or go back down. Obviously, my goal, I don't want to take too much insulin because it can go down really, really fast. And so you have to be careful with that. But it was starting to get cold outside too, so I didn't want to have to go for a walk. And so I just decided to give myself 1/2 units of insulin, figuring that would at least help it slowly go down a little bit and get out of the 200s back into the 100s. And then for the next hour, so from 5:30 to 6:30, my blood sugars just kept going up. It's unfortunate. I still, to this moment, do not have a clue why it kept going up. Yes, I realized I had 15 grams of sugar, and yes, I maybe ate a total of 30 carbs, maybe. It didn't make any sense to me why my blood sugars were still going up. So I took the 1 unit after I ate the popcorn, and this was immediately after I ate the popcorn. And then 2 hours later, when I was working, I took another half unit of insulin to make it come back down a little bit. Well, it was not working. It was not coming down. My blood sugar just kept going up. It went up to 230, and then it went up to 250, and then it went up to 270, and then it went up to 290. This is when I had a true panic attack. My blood sugars have not been that high since I was diagnosed. When I was diagnosed, my blood sugars were around 420. And so the fact that I was close to 300 really, really freaked me out. The fact that I was taking insulin to lower it and it was not working was really, really freaking me out. And I was very, very overwhelmed. At 5:30, right when my blood sugars decided to go up, my boyfriend left to go get pizza for dinner. I don't eat pizza that often because it scares me with my blood sugars. It really does. I rarely want to eat pizza because I get nervous with it. But today I was like, it's football Sunday. We can have some pizza. Let's go crazy. At 6:30, my boyfriend shows back up. My levels are at 290. I'm freaking out. I took another unit of insulin to get it to come down. Nothing is happening. So now I've taken, since my blood sugar has risen, I've taken 1.5 units of insulin. Nothing is happening. My blood sugar, the arrow is literally directly going up in my Dexcom, and I have no idea what's going on at this point. So my boyfriend shows up with the pizza, and needless to say, I started crying because I was not going to eat that pizza. Not when my levels are close to 300. I almost started crying because it's so frustrating in these moments when I already feel weird saying yes to pizza, but today, at the time yesterday, I was like, I'm gonna eat pizza tonight. Screw it, right? Like, it's football Sunday, I'm gonna do it. And then this blood sugar instance started to happen, and I was so overwhelmed and so frustrated with the scenario that I was taking insulin, nothing was happening, it wasn't coming down. I just wanted to eat the pizza, but there's no way in hell I was gonna do that when my levels were close to 300. And so I took another unit of insulin because I was so stressed, and I regret that today, and I'll tell you why. I took another unit of insulin because I was so pissed off that I couldn't eat this pizza. I told my boyfriend, I'm going for a walk. It's freezing, I don't care, I'm bundling up and I'm going for a walk so this insulin kicks in and it goes down. Because when your levels are at 300, it's freaking scary. And so I just storm out, I bundle up and I storm out and walk about a mile. When I start walking, it's still high. I get to 1/2 of a mile, so 0.5 miles. It starts to say it's going down. Well, I'm like, all right, I probably should turn around because I don't want it to drop too low. I turn around at about 1/2 of a mile to go back home. And then it just continues to drop, like a lot, like it's double arrowing down. It starts to skyrocket down. That is dangerous. And it's scary when you're on a walk a 1/2 mile away from home and you don't have that much sugar on you. Thankfully, I did take a little thing of glucose tablets, but it's still scary because dropping